Okay, so I showed you some components of the resume with this example here. Next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to show you what a manager looks for in a resume. And I want you to understand how quickly they go through some of these things. Because when you submit your resume through the internet, it's very common for you to be in a pile with 200 to 300 other resumes. It's really rough. Okay, now in my course 7 Secrets to a Fast Job Search, I show you how to get around all of that to get into that 70% of jobs that are never advertised. Because what happens is that a manager like myself, we have a need, and we think, oh man, I got to hire somebody for my property management company. All right, so it's in my head, and well, what do we do next? I don't really want to advertise it for long because I'll get bombed with all these resumes, and then I got to sort through all this stuff, and it's a big headache. If I can say, I know a guy who might be good for this job, somebody I know already, or somebody who had approached us in the past, I'm going to call them first. Secondly, I'm going to ask around and see who do I know who might be a good fit for this job. Then I'm going to look at, all right, hey, I'll be asking around, through my network to see if anybody, maybe I put a post on my personal Facebook page. Hey, I'm hiring right now. Do you know anybody who could do this job description? Things like that. And then you gradually post it out there farther and farther and getting more and more, resumes. But again, it's sometimes very, very overwhelming. When you get into a large company, I'll talk to you more about the HR and recruiters and how those folks come into play. But as a manager, my point is we're going to go through these really fast. All right. So if let's say in each of these cases, I'm going to be a different type of manager in a different industry, but I'm still a manager nonetheless. So when I look at this first resume with Ellen, I see certified nurse assistant. Okay, great. Right away, I could see on the top that this is this person. I know what level they're at. I know what kind of background they have. They describe, without even reading a whole lot, I do see where it says 8 years of experience. That's great. The skill highlights are in here. So diagnostics, medical recording and charting, patient care. Okay, she's got experience with that. Great. Do I know any of the companies that she's worked for? Perhaps. Okay, so the same name is in the title of the jobs that she had. Silent Hill Healthcare Staffing. Maybe I know somebody over there. Maybe I've used somebody. I might even be able to make a phone call over there or check. I could look on LinkedIn and see if she truly did work there. It does say still to current. And if I call her, I'd be asking, do you still work there, to see when she would be available. She wouldn't necessarily have to put the months on here, but in this case she has, and it looks like she's worked there a long time. As we go through, there's a number of different things that she's done in the job. Doesn't say whether she's great at it or not. That's one of the things that I would say is missing from this resume. So, how do I know she's successful or not? You can't see the certifications down below as well. Which will be important to this type of job. So, okay, we've got that going. As we go into the next one, we've got Darla here, and again, these are kind of mock-ups, so I'm not using real resumes, but you understand. But these are based on real people. So here, I look at it very quick. Cashier, all right, accurate, efficient, dependable. She's putting some words to brag about herself. Nothing wrong with that. The skill sets should match the key words in the job description that I have for the job. So customer service, excellent, great. That's cool. As we go down, let's see, identified as one of the store's high potential leaders through recent selection of head cashier. All right, that says something about her. So she's performing better than most. So that again is something that employee of the month within 6 months is mentioned down here too. So that's pretty cool. Let me just move myself over here a little bit, get out of the way. So honored with Integrity Award, another success story. I like those success stories. So even at a fairly low level position, even entry-level position, she's had some success with these things. So that's a great thing. It's one page. She's only really probably had one job, and that's okay. So you're finding out something. But again, I read through this really fast. I didn't read it in great detail. And this is what happens, and that's why we have to have a resume that where the main information pops off the page at the hiring manager very quickly. So I hope you understand that. This isn't something that's going to be read in great detail. As we go into the next one, we've got another account executive here. So as we go in here, she doesn't have a LinkedIn profile. I might look to see if she's got one. We go into some success stories, led inside sales effort that supported a group of $4 million in annual revenue. That gives me a sense of the size and scope of what she did. Down here it says 50 potential customers to overcome objections, exceeded sales targets by 35%. There you go. That's what I'm looking for in a salesperson, somebody who's beating their numbers. That's really among the most important things. Gets down into business school. Looks like she went to 2 years of business school. Okay. Now this says Master's of Business Education, and she's got her bachelor's underneath that. Okay. So very quickly I can see her education, and that makes sense to the job too. So she didn't start something and then change her career and get into something, although that's super common. A lot of people do that. But let's see, we've got additional information, she calls it, and that's fine. You could say technical skills as well. But we've got another pretty good resume. Everything's pushed out to the border, so there's a lot of room on here, just using the years on as opposed to months. Let's see, go into this one. This one I want to show you because this particular one, we only see a portion of the resume, okay? And, like a third of the screen. And if you're looking at a resume, especially off a laptop, you're only going to see the small part of the resume at a time. So there better be enough information on there to pop off and tell you what this person does. But again, notice the success stories that are on there. So we really, and it's, if you work at a company for 1 year, 3 year, 10 years, it's hard to remember all the things that you've done unless you take some time in a notebook and a journal, which I'm a big advocate of. Write these ideas down. What did I do well, and how do I know that? What kind of awards did I win? What sort of things did people pat me on the back about in my job? So we want to have those things down. Then we get into, let's see, Jane Doe here. Information technology analyst. Okay, I got a label, I got a level, I've got, generally an industry that she might be involved in. This says immigrant services. That gives me a niche about the type of industry that she was in as well. We've got the summary of qualifications. That's pretty good. Again, I'm just flying through this really fast. Master's of Business Education, Bachelor's of Science, Microsoft Certified, software proficiencies. Those are really important for any kind of software position. It's all about, what kind of software certifications and things do you have, so we need to make sure that those match. And if you're not, let's say you don't have that, you could say something like currently studying or currently testing out on this particular thing that you're looking for. All right, that might get you the first interview. Okay, if they say, okay, well, at least they're studying that, because if you're close to learning that could be okay. Let's see, what else? We've got automotive sales here. Okay, so pretty quick to understand what this person does. It's got some bullet points in here. Persuasion, negotiations, consultative sales is a good keyword that are commonly used for salespeople. We go back into, we can see the location and the times that they worked, going back into their education, so that's pretty good. Now this next one, a little different looking, right? When you put this through a software, applicant software program, it may not read it at all because it's black and red. It'll go through and they say, I can't tell what the words are. It might work, might not. So if you send anything in and out that's, now this person is a graphic designer. That would be important so what they're trying to do here is show that, hey, this is I'm a graphic designer, and so I'm going to show you a creative way to give you my resume. Now, I think this is hard to read and put together, and you can see it's a sample, so not everything's filled in here. But if you're a designer, you probably want to have a website instead that shows your design capabilities and make sure that that's listed on there, which in this case it is. He's got It says freebies on here, and he's got Facebook, and so I could quickly go to that link and take a look at some of his stuff, which would be important. Photo of the month, and let's see, best wild photo. Okay, so he's won some awards there. That's pretty cool. The skill sets will be really important. Somebody who's a creative graphic designer, you better know Photoshop and Illustrator and some of that stuff, so that'd be important. But again, I want you to understand, if you carry this into somebody and give them the resume, this resume might work. If, on the other hand, you go out and you just send it through the internet, the software programs are not going to make any sense of his face, and it's going to be so black, it's going to have trouble reading these words and selecting the words off there. So that could be a real problem. So you probably want to send them another version that's a read text only version as well. Now, read text only version is the simplest one you could possibly send out, and that'll help. Also, if somebody prints that out, it's going to be this black. It's going to be it's not going to look pretty. It's going to be kind of messy. This is another one. You can see having the face up there is kind of cool. And if you're interviewing 100 people, that picture is going to be super helpful to a manager. Now I remember which guy this is. When you're just looking at resumes, I'm telling you, after you've gone through dozens and dozens of interviews with these folks, we as managers would write down the guy with the purple shirt, or the guy who had the dog, or something that reminded us who this person was, because these things start looking the same after a while. So having a picture like this can be actually really beneficial. But at the same time, it's not always useful as it goes through the applicant software. So we got to be careful about that. But this is another example of something that somebody with a technical background might do. Got to be careful about getting too creative with some of these, though. There are some times when this might make some sense. This is a web developer, so he does website design, and he better have a website for me to look at. That would be critically important. He does, so we've got some options to look at that stuff, but we need to make sure that's taken care of. How about another one? A super boring one. Don't put your birth date on there. I wouldn't encourage you to do that ever. He's got a resume template online. Anyway, there's not a whole lot here to talk about, especially in terms of success stories that he had. So, and some of them are this boring and this basic, and I might just turn the page on this one because I don't see enough there to get excited about. This particular one is pretty busy, but it's okay. She's got a little graphic up here. Again, the applicant software won't quite understand that. She does have, looks like a website I can go to. So visual communicator, I want to be able to see some of her designs. That'll be important. And she's popped out these computer skills right up front. Web design, graphic design, that's what I'm looking for, okay, in that job. If that's not there, you're wasting my time, and I'll probably turn the page to the next one. Again, there's so many resumes that come in. I got to get through these fast, and you can see the wide variety that are out there. I'm trying to show you the cleanest, best way to approach this and get through to those managers. But you're going to see a lot of different stuff, and you can take some take some incentive and play around with some of these different designs if you like, but just be careful about the basics. This is another one where it's got the keywords in here. This is not going to print well. If somebody printed a copy of it, this is going to end up black, and it's not going to look very good. It's going to be hard to read, or in some cases impossible to read. So I don't like that. The coloring of this, I would have left that just white. If you went to an interview and you brought your resume, which you should go into an interview and bring a couple copies of your resume, hand them out. If you wanted to hand this out at that time, then it would look great. Then it would make a lot of sense. Okay, but in many cases that may not be the best. But it's got the basics down. The name's right there, sales executive. Right away, I know what she does. She's got the LinkedIn profile there. She's got all her contact information. So that's all. It's all done correctly. Skills and competencies can be changed and adjusted really quickly to fit that job. It's got the company. I'd probably put a company description under here because I don't know what these companies do other than winemaker. But it says manage portfolio 30 plus products, 15 locations. There's 20% increase. Those are numbers that, again, show me her success. So I like that. We get into, let's see, Jane Q. Public, accounting manager, office manager. Really fast. I already know what this person does, and I can take a guess about whether I should be making a phone call to this person or not. It says page 1 of 2. That's kind of good. If that's second page, if I don't see that second page, I better start looking for it. It's around somewhere. Okay, but that helped, because this is only going, back so far in time. She might have another 10 years to talk about, but if I can't find, that resume, at first maybe it's printed on the back side, maybe it just got separated, but that's important to look at. All right, what else we got here? This is another one that is sales manager, account manager. Now, if somebody was a salesperson and they said, I want to get into management, all right, well, put sales manager. That's what I'm looking to do, is be a manager next time. All right. So say, again, we're gearing this toward the job you want to have in the future, your best ideal job in the future, rather than what you did in the past. All right. It doesn't matter if you worked at a restaurant, now you want to get a job as a salesperson. We need to put down and lead the manager's thinking and tell them, this is what I'm going to do. Okay. I'm going to be a sales manager, not a salesperson. Okay. I want to lead a team. And you're going to talk about teamwork, and you're going to show some of the professional development that you've done about leading teams and negotiating and things that you can teach and so on. So that'll be important to always remember. We're putting our resume together for the future jobs, not just the past jobs. All right. This is a marketing tool to get you out there. The next one. Here's another one that's it's got nice bright colors, great photo. It's a little sparse in here, but I can see pretty quickly software engineer. I can tell what they do, and as we go through, it's just a little slim on. But there's a couple other things I'm going to mention in one of the other what things to leave off of your resume and what things to have on. Working knowledge of C, C++. Those are software programs. And Java, Ruby, Python. That's what I want to know. Does this guy have those skill sets? And then I can call him and decide if that makes sense or not. All right. Let's see. I think just a couple more, and then we'll move on to the next section. So Daphne, we got accounts receivable, specialists, accounts receivables, billing, collections, invoice statements. Okay. Independent contributor. Works in accounts receivables in the finance department. This already I can tell whether maybe I should give this person a call or not. And lastly, I just want to show you what this is it's a read text only version. It's kind of boring to look at, but the software program will read this perfectly and never fail. So if you're trying to make sure that this is going to go through the software program, you might want to send your nice HTML pretty version of your resume along with the read text only version, just to make sure it gets through. That's probably a good idea. Okay. So as we go along, I'm going to take some time, and we're going to talk about HR and recruiters to help you out too. So that's the next thing we're going to touch on. All right. See you in a minute.